In the previous video, you might get overwhelmed because I have introduced a lot of different utility classes in a single video. But I was actually giving you a teaser of how Tailwind CSS actually works. In this specific video, we are going to make simple badges like components, and I will actually now demonstrate you how the basic utility classes work. So I'm going to remove the whole code from here. Now we're again going to start with a div. So I'm going to use Flexbox, but the thing is I will cover Flexbox probably in future videos, so you don't have to worry about it right now. So I'm just going to write item center and justify center. So now I'm just going to provide a color, so BG gray, let's go with 900. Now since it is actually a div, I actually need to increase the size, so I'm going to use this min h screen. Alright, so now we are going to create a div here which is actually going to act as a flex element. Now inside it I'm going to make simple components, simple badge components, so I'm going to use a span tag here. So span. Now inside it, let's just pick an emoji. So I'm just going to go with this emoji, and let's say what, okay, I'm just going to write something, and let's style this specific thing. Now what I'm going to do is first of all change the background color, so BG gray and then dash, let's say 800, or let's go with 900, sorry 800 is fine. Now one more thing to note here, if I go to the colors, if I look for the colors, okay, so here you can see the various colors that Tailwind CSS actually offers. So gray, and these are the different shades available inside gray, so these are the colors. Now what I'm going to do is first of all add padding, right? So in order to add padding, it is super simple. You just need to type P, and then if you want padding on the x-axis, you would write px-4, okay, or like any unit. So all of the units are obviously listed here if you just look for the padding, okay. So for example, if you want to provide padding in the x-axis, so you can take a look at px-classes. So over here, from here, you can see px-2, px-2.5. So I'm going to go with px-4. So in a similar manner, so I'm going to go with px4 and py2. Alright, so now I want the text to be white. So again, you can look for the text colors. So text color, if I go over here, you can see these are the colors you can provide. So I'm going to go with text gray 200 or text gray 100, or maybe text white. So let's go with text gray 200. So this will be a little white. Now I want to decrease the font size. So if you take a look here as text size, so you can see like font size section, right? So here you can see the different font sizes you can provide. So I'm going to go with text dash SM because I want to decrease the font size, so SM. So you can see the font is decreased. Now I want to change it. I mean, I want to make the text uppercase. So in order to do it, if you just look for the text transformation, then you will see there is a class called uppercase, right? So that will actually transform the text to uppercase. So now you can see this. Now I want to increase the font size, or sorry, font weight. So if you take a look over here and look for font weight, so here you will see all of these classes. So I want font semi-bold, so I can just add it. So I'm going to go with font semi-bold. Alright, now I want some spacing between the letters, so I'm going to go with leading. Okay, that's tracking actually. So tracking, tighter, tight, wider, normal, wide, wider. So as I'm hovering over one, as I'm doing this, you can see it is actually changing in real time. So if I go here, widest, wider, wide, right? So I'm going to go with wider. Now I want to make this border rounded, so I'm going to search for border radius. So border radius, then you will find all of these different utility classes that you can add for changing the border radius. Now I want to make it full, right? What I mean by this term is I want to make the border completely circular from this side and this side. So there's an utility class called rounded-full. So you can see this. So this basically going to add this much border radius. So I'm going to go with it. So rounded-full. Alright, now you can see this is how it looks like. So we have created a simple badge-like component using simple utility classes, right? There is nothing fancy right now. One more thing, I want to decrease the font color. So basically I'm going to increase a bit of gray color. So yep, this looks better actually. Yeah, so this is how you can make it. So I'm also going to copy this specific span and paste it again. Okay, now what I'm going to do is change the emoji. So I'm going to pick different emojis. So for example, it's a knife. And let's pick one more emoji, and let's go with this. Okay, now you can see these badges are now looking great, right? But the one problem is when I hover over it, I am actually seeing this specific cursor, which is not great, right? I want to be able to get that pointer cursor. So if you just look for the cursors, so just search for cursors. Now here you will find all of the different cursors that you can add. So this is the default pointer. So this is the one I'm interested in, right? So there are other cursors as well, like weight, text, move, hover, not allowed. Okay, so I'm going to go with the pointer. So I'm going to add it in all of these. So let's say cursor, pointer. So when I hover over them now you can see they looks better. One more thing, I want some spacing between them. So one way to do it is by adding padding in all of these items, but the best way in this specific case is to add space between property in the parent div. So if you just look for the parent, if you just look at the documentation and search for space between, so you can see the different utility classes that you can add. So I'm going to go, I want spacing in the x-axis. So if you look for x, so space x, and then these are the utility classes. So I'm going to go over here and say class space dash x dash 3, or let's say 2. So why I'm doing this instead of adding padding in these badges, or sorry, in the margin along the x-axis in these badges? One reason is now I don't have to if I want to increase the size, like if I want to increase the spacing between them, I don't have to change like each of the element manually, right? I can directly change this specific thing. So these are like just the simple utility classes that you can directly search on the website and directly use them. All right, so you don't really have to cram anything. And this is how our beautiful badges look like. So this is it for this specific video. In the next video, I will introduce the concept of the hover property and focus styling that you can add using Tailwind CSS.